Every service business has a sales process, and right now I'm guessing that you probably have a process that was an osmosis type deal. Like you had somebody come in that's a new employee, me or you or somebody else, and they followed you around until you felt like they were good enough to go out on their own. Not a sales process. That is not something that you can hone in on and really scale a business. You need a product, a process that you've got written out and done that is going to be able to be trainable, tr- uh, and then continued training, education on it. This is a living document. This is a product of mine of my coaching that I only do sales process training for some companies that I don't even coach. I just go in there and teach them the process. I make them a custom book like this, and 3 days later they have a whole process, and everybody's using it. And right now, I've done one training out in Detroit. The average uh, result within a week, and everybody had doubled their sales. Every guy in the business or in my training had doubled their sales with this process, and then started to really hone in on what they're doing. So the way I do it is there's a station of every little process that you have to do. And so I'm going to go through this. I'm not showing it, but you'll have it. I have another, if you noticed, I called this sales process 2.0. There's another one where I whiteboard this all out, and there's some new steps even to when we whiteboarded this out. So I'm just going to kind of go through this. So first off, is you have the call on the way. And I'm going to read this through. And so it says, ring, ring. Hi, this is Chad. I'm with X company. I'm on my way to provide you a 5-star experience to say what you're there for, going for, and I'll be there in about 30 minutes. I'm going to be stopping by a convenience store to get some coffee. Would you like me to get you a coffee or anything there for you? I'm on my way to there. Why don't I get you something if you need it, a coffee or something? And so if they say yes, great. Tell them to text you your order. If you're going to Starbucks or something like that, have them text you your order and buy them a coffee, or a soda if it's a hot day, or a tea, or just whatever. Whatever you're getting, offer to get something. You'll be shocked at how many people will say yes, or just the gesture alone is something great. So now you then you go up to the door. Let's just forget about the coffee. If you hand them the coffee, you knock, knock, knock. And you introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Chad. I'm here with Master Services here to give you a 5-star experience to do whatever service for this amount of money. May I come in or go or take them out wherever you want to? So notice what you're doing here is you're greeting them again. You're talking. You heard me say in the beginning a 5-star experience, right? Same thing here, 5-star experience. When we get to company language and stuff, the scripting of the call center, they've said 5-star experience. Now we're setting it up, obviously, for 5-star review later, but you also are setting them up for something later in this process. So here we go. So you've knocked on the door. You're on your way either to the living room or you're on your way outside. Let's take it to where you want to come inside. So on the walk, whether it's outside or inside, let's say inside, you are then you're not somebody who's just there to do a job. You're a human being. So be a human being. Talk about the house. Talk about something you might see, something familiar. Don't just be your technician in your niche. And so I always talk about it. I'm sorry if you're a plumber. Like, don't be a plumber with your butt hanging out. Shows up just to do the job. You want to be a person and show your personality. So when you get into the living room, or you're getting to the part of whatever you're there to see, and you're not. This is by the way, this is a sales process. This is not a technician showing up. This is you're there to sell them your product and services, more like your services. And so, okay, so now you see whatever you're there for. You saw the windows of your window washer. Okay. Hey, I have many questions, and let me get to know your situation here with whatever I'm here for. May we sit over there and point and maybe give them two options at the table or at the island, which is more comfortable for you. I've got a lot of stuff I'm going to go over. So you sit down, you hand them their coffee, or they offer you coffee or water. I suggest at this point, take it. If they offer you a donut, take it. And there's ask for a napkin and take it outside and eat it later if you don't want it. You want them to if they give you something, take it. Don't just say no. A lot of times, Texas, they offer water, take the water, and then now here's our point where I noticed that you pick something in the room that's relatable to you and your family, and talk about it. We're trying to build rapport. This is about the rapport building. Okay. So now we've done the little rapport. The person sits down, you're at the table, and now let's get into it. So I know why I'm here. I know what my work order says why I'm here. Please tell me in your own words, why am I here? Okay. So what you're doing now is you're putting your listening cap on. You're not just mindlessly, You're listening to what they say. You're engaged. And when you're doing this now, we're waiting to what they say, because when they get to when they're done, you then repeat what they say and say your business has been doing it for years. You're establishing you're the expert that they called out, and you're the right person to do their job. So, for instance, uh, uh, um, yes, I called up. We have a lot of our windows are very dirty, and it seems like the windows aren't sealing. There's so much mud in there, and so it's something we want to get our windows cleaned more regularly. Blah blah blah. So great. That's what we do, man. We are so good at cleaning windows. We've been doing it for years, and we're really good at getting that dirt done out of there. And as a matter of fact, I just had another lady, that I got there, and her house was caked. I mean, you'd think that they had a mud fest, on their windowsills. So anyway, that's what we do. You're giving them an affirmation that you're the expert. So another example, um, let's just say you're an electrician, you're showing up, and someone's breakers aren't working, and the one room's not working. It's like, and they ask her, yeah, well, the breaker hasn't been working. It flips off all the time. It's like, man, I just went to another job not long ago. They had a bad breaker too. I'll be glad to take a look at this and get this fixed today. It's just something that we're very good at doing. So you're repeating what they say, and you're going through it. Okay. So now you go through your discovery questions, whatever they are, whatever you need to know to do your job. How long have you lived here? How long do you plan on being here? Very good discovery questions to have. Have you had any other issues related to what this is? Tell us, how long has it been going on? Just whatever you're there for, get your discovery questions. And so then another thing to do, there's your unique discovery questions, depending on your service. You know, have you ever thought about, and you offer other services? Or do you have any other properties locally that I might have the same situation that I could go out to? Like, you have a cabin, or you have any rent houses, that I can go look at or do. Depends on your cleaning, if your service, your cleaning service, a maid service. What else could you do for them in another property? If you're fixing, like a chimney, you can, ask to see if they have any other chimneys. And you're also at that time also going and asking, do you have any other friends? Don't keep me a secret. I'd like to see if there's anybody out there. You're kind of setting them up, and kind of going from there. And so, all right. So then you get into the now that I know your system, how fast do you want me to get this thing fixed and working? It depends on your niche, right? I mean, obviously, if you're there as an electrician, and their lights aren't working, they want that as soon as possible. But if you're there for a type of estimate in a niche that may require, they may not buy. Like, let's just say your closing ratio of showing up to a job is roughly 50%. Well, you're going to want to ask this question. Well, if I find something wrong, or I come up with a solution, how fast do you want me to get this fixed? That way, you're priming them to say, because it's going to help you later, when we get to the close and rebuttals, that they just told you they want this fixed as fast as possible. So it's just a tool we're going to use later on. Okay. So you've heard me talk that and say several times in the call center that we're a 5-star experience. And at any given time, you think that we fell or dipped below the 5-star experience, I need you to let me know. And when my guys are here to do the work, at any given time you don't think they are hitting the 5-star experience, you need to call them, get a hold of their foreman, or get a hold of me, and let's make sure we rectify the situation and keep this at a 5-star experience, because that's what we are. We're totally 5-star experience. Now you start seeing the ball rolling here. Now you're giving them, the authority to, if something's not in their head going the way that they expected it, they're going to come to you and they're going to help resolve the problem before you're done. That way you can fix it and address it while it's happening, not later. And this is huge. And it's going to help you get more reviews. It's going to put them at ease that, you're ready to give them the 5-star experience. But if it doesn't go exactly the way you plan, let me know. It's a very, very big mind thing, and it really puts you at ease when someone's there to tell you, listen, things happen. If anything's going not the way you like it, then let me know, or let the guy, and you notice I also said when my guys come to show up to do the work, I'm also prepping them on a Jedi mind trick here that preparing them to buy, when my guys are here doing the work, so there's a lot to this process. Okay. So now, depending on what you're selling and stuff, now you're going to go start your estimate or your inspection or your. I strongly advise you to go maybe do a quick look, but then invite the client to be with you. If you want to do it alone at first, and like give me 2 minutes, and then I want to come get you and kind of let's go look around and everything, show you, go around with you because while you're doing that, what you're going to be doing while you're estimating is you're going to be pointing out what you could do, what upgrades you could do, and what would happen if you didn't do it. That's very important in sales. What's going to happen if you don't do this? And every service has that. Obviously, we don't, if you're cleaning windows, the pollen on the windows, look at all this pollen. If we don't clean this, it's going to be very hard and it's going to be, the glass could possibly get fogged up and lose its seal. So we want to make sure that we keep all that and we clean it very well. How our see what I'm saying? All these different services niches that you guys are in have your value sale at the time of a discovery to talk with a client and get them part of the process. Because if you can solve many of the questions they're going to have later by them visually seeing it and while you're explaining it, it makes your sales so much easier. So then you get into where you're going to write up the inspection. Now, if you have a niche where you're going to go outside and you're going to then come back and the client's not going to come with you, what you want to do at any given point when you're about ready to go write it up, if you're with them and they're with you the whole time, then you say, listen, if you don't mind, I'm going to go write this up. With your permission, I'd like to be able to, give you the full estimate and the full inspection or whatever you're doing. Now, this is going to be a lot of information, and it's just depending on what your niche is. And it's a higher ticket thing. What you want to do is you want to invite the spouse who's not there into the conversation when you're presenting. And so you want to ask. So, okay, this is a lot of information I'm going to have here, and is it possible that we could spend 10 minutes with your spouse to get them on the phone? Because you did say you want to do this as fast as possible, and I want to be able to get this on a schedule and get this thing going for you. So the best way to do it is if we get them, make the decision, we're off to the races and go. Is that okay with you? They'll say yes or no, but the minimum, then you're going to excuse yourself to do the paperwork to come back in to give it to them. You're at least giving them primed up. Hopefully, the spouse is on the phone, maybe FaceTime, whatever. But you know what's happening? They're going in and they're calling their spouse, and they're talking about everything they just saw while you inspected, coming up with the estimate, right? So you want them to be primed when they sit down. There's not going to be a whole. They might be shocked at the price, but they're not shocked with what has to happen because they've now seen the damages or what it's going to take to clean it, what happens if you don't do it, all that stuff. So it's super important to do that at that time. So now you come in again. We're not a plumber with our butt hanging out. We're walking in and we're saying, hey, it was a beautiful yard outside, or I really love this or that. You're talking a little bit, and can we sit back down? And so you do that. Now, once you are, I'm going through my thing. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Okay, so now I sit back, small talk for a couple minutes. Now you're going to present. So the presentation now is, depending on your niche, I strongly suggest you present the facts, the issues with no pricing, and talk and clearly like what will happen if you don't do it. What this is. It depends on what your niche is, but you really want to go through the whole presentation and talk about what you're going to do. And then when you get to the pricing, you describe, we're going to do this, and you're going to now give a value sale. You're going to explain in very highly detailed, long descriptions on exactly how you're going to do whatever it is. So the sticker shock might be there, but it's going to be worth the money, whether they can afford it or not. Now, we're not talking about affordability here. We're talking about, you have gotten them to the value of, this is what's going to happen if you don't fix it. And this is what it takes for us to do the job. And you're going to go into major detail on that. And I'll give you an easy example. So let's just say you're a window washer. And And people think just cleaning windows is just cleaning windows. Well, it's not. You know that. I mean, you're dealing with prickly bushes. You're dealing with soil in garden beds. You're dealing with going around in bedrooms and curtains and all this stuff. So, what is it going to take to navigate doing all of that? It's not just, well, we'll clean all your window sills, your window panes, and you'll make sure that we get all the pollen off, and that's it. No, it's okay. Well, we're going to come and after we've done this inspection, we're going to go room by room on the exterior or outside exterior, and we're going to cover up your plants. We're going to make sure that we don't get anything. Everything, all the stuff we use is a non plant based chemical hurting process. We use Dove or Dawn, or we use whatever we use to magically clean the windows. We're going to scrape the pollen off, and we're going to meticulously do every inch of it. If there's any overspray paint that ever happened in the past, we're going to get that. We're going to make clean lines, and then we're going to wash it twice, and then we're going to squeegee it and wipe our towel, and then we're going to take the window sills, we're going to lift up the windows, and we're really going to get in there with a bucket of water, just enough water to get it all wet, and we're going to scrub it almost with with a big fat toothbrush type of little tool that we have. We're going to get the little corners and get all that dust and soil that's collected over the years, and get that windowsill looking like brand new again. We're going to dry it all off. I'm going to be going through rags after rags that we have. They're going to be black when we're done. See what I'm saying? I'm explaining all of this I'm doing, and I'm just cleaning the window. Everything you do, you've got to explain it in long detail so that when I tell them before, right now, I'm just going to use the window washing thing. Right now, you go to clean windows, maybe doing the exterior of a house for, let's just say, $200, right? Maybe less. Well, now after everything I just said, that's a $400 value. No doubt. I'm doing all of this, and I'm going to do it for $400. And you're doing the same thing you already did, but now you've explained it better, and now, boom, now you're starting to see how you start doubling your income with any niche really quick. Okay, so now you've gone through that. Now we get to the sale, the closing. People are. It's so funny. We're there to close them. That's our main job, right? To do the job. And it's so funny how your employees are timid at this. They're like good at doing the job. They're super good at explaining stuff. And then they have no good close. The good close is this. So here's what you do. This is the easiest close in the world. So first, you get to the line items. You're all done. You've explained everything. What if you didn't do it? This, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And that's going to be $3,550. But before you tell me yes, and I'm nodding, if you notice, I'm nodding. Let me tell you a little bit about my company, or our company. And then you go down and tell them about a minute to 2 minute story about your company that you worked on with your guys and come up with the company story. And then you train the technician to give at least 30 seconds to a minute about themselves. I mean, and it's not all about business. So they like to fish, hunt, they have kids, their kid plays baseball, their kid does this. We're relating everything that they do and the company with their same lifestyle that they have with the client. Sometimes that sparks off a conversation. And then when they're done with that, I'll say, listen, I can get this job on next week or tomorrow or whatever. It's going to be $5,400. What do you say? You just literally just ask. I can get it on next week, and then stare at them. No matter what you close, you got to ask for the sale, and you teach your employees to shut up and stare right at them, and don't say a word. You literally just stare at them. First thing out of their mouth is going to be yes, quickly. Maybe they'll think about it. Yes.